Okay, yeah. All right. Hello, we are Genetics Video Group 7. I'm Kristen Beth.
I'm Paige Marvica.
I'm Brianna Mahoney.
And I'm Alexandra Soto.
We will be talking about how dogs have genetically changed throughout time. Think about a dog in your life. That dog is a common ancestor, the gray wolf. There are two hypotheses on how the gray wolf became domesticated.
The first hypothesis, some wolves were around human camps to scavenge on bones and leftovers, much like urban foxes today. The hunters would likely have been tolerated the friendly individuals in driving away the most dangerous ones. This caused ancestral wolves to split into subspecies, the tamed ones associated with humans and a fiercer one that stayed wild. The second hypothesis involves humans raising orphaned wolf cubs and later breeding them.
Here's a modern-day family dog. In order to understand their lineage, we will be constructing a phylogenetic tree.
A phylogenetic tree is a diagram that represents evolutionary relationships among organisms. Phylogenetic trees are hypotheses, not definitive facts. The pattern of branching in a phylogenetic tree reflects on how a group of species evolved from a series of common ancestors. Two species are more related if they have a more recent common ancestor and less related if they have a less recent common ancestor. These dogs, we can see that their common ancestor is the gray wolf.
Looking at the gray wolf, the K locus determines coat color in gray wolves. Wolves have both dominant and recessive alleles. When creating a Punnett square, we show different possibility breeding outcomes for the K locus. Homozygous recessive was 100%, heterozygous was 50%.
Looking at the husky mix, the B locus determines coat color. This is a sublocus of the K that we get from the original ancestor. Because this husky is brown, he is recessive for B locus. When creating this Punnett square, heterozygous, which was 25%, homozygous recessive was 100%, and homozygous recessive with heterozygous was 50%. Out of these four dogs, the closest being related to their ancestor, the gray wolf, was the husky.
Looking into the black lab, who is the second closest out of the four dogs, the B locus also determines coat color. The black lab is dominant, hence the black coat color and the greater frequency. When creating the Punnett square, homozygous dominant was 100%. Heterozygous was 25% for big B, and 50% for big B, little b, resulting in a dominant allele being 75%. The homozygous dominant and heterozygous was 50-50, being 100% dominant allele. Homo dominant to homo recessive resulted in 100%.
Now looking at the Australian Shepherd, he was third closest. He had a locus type of B and E because of his tricolor in his coat. He could have a dominant or recessive for E. B had to be dominant. Looking at the Punnett square, homozygous dominant was 100%, homozygous recessive was 100%, heterozygous was 25% for big E, 25% for little e, 50% for big E, little e. As for the B was homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive, which was 100%.
Looking at the pit bull, the Y locus determines coat color. The Y locus is the furthest sublocus from the K locus, meaning that the pit bull is the furthest relative of the gray wolf out of our dogs. The pit bull is dominant for Y locus, therefore we can see her brown coat. She is homozygous dominant 100%. Heterozygous was 25% big Y, 25% little y, and 50% big Y, little y.
We learned that domestic dogs have evolved from a common ancestor, the great wolf. From the four dogs we looked at, the husky was the most similar to the gray wolf, and the pit bull was the least similar based on the locus type and DNA. When connecting this back to the phylogenetic tree, we know that the order of these dogs would be husky, black lab, Australian shepherd, and then pit bull. Now we hope that you have a better understanding of these dogs' ancestral background.